Welcome to the HIV/AIDS Studies Module 3. The course code for this module is Ium-Hs30D3. My name is S. Dube and I'm going to be the presenter for this module. So first of all, let's look at the content. What is contained in this module or things that we're going to cover in this module? So first of all, look at this module looks at the current global status and trends of HIV and AIDS, Vision 2030, the national response to HIV and AIDS in Namibia, national guidelines for the prevention of mother-to-child transmission of HIV, PMTCT, HIV/AIDS and AIDS in Sub-Saharan Africa and its impact on education and agricultural sector, policy formulation and international policy on HIV and AIDS, HIV/AIDS in the workplace policies and introduction, HIV/AIDS mainstreaming, monitoring and evaluation techniques, project management in HIV. Learning outcomes, what it is that we expect our learners to be able to do. We want them to develop the knowledge on the current global status of HIV trends and the impact on the Sub-Saharan Africa, especially in education, agriculture sector, as well as the health sector. Knowledge on the national responses to HIV in Namibia through the review of Vision 2030. The national response to HIV in Namibia, the MTP Medium Term Plan 3, and the national guidelines for the prevention of mother-to-child transmission, HIV, PMTCT. Skills review and analyze policy documents to develop better understanding of varied aspects to HIV/AIDS, varied approaches required in addressing these aspects. We want students to be able to develop the knowledge on policy formulation, including international policies, policies related to the workplace, and how to mainstream HIV and AIDS into the organization. And also, we want students to be able to revise on monitoring and evaluation techniques in the context of HIV, and to develop the knowledge and skills in understanding of project management for HIV. Introductory overview. This manual provides students with knowledge on the impact of HIV on the Sub-Saharan Africa, in particular in the education, the agricultural sector, as well as the health sector. We can add the health sector as well. Students are exposed to the review and analysis of national policies of Namibia, such as Vision 2030, the National Strategic Plan on HIV and AIDS, the national PMTCT guidelines, the need for mainstreaming of HIV and AIDS in the workplace, and to create a better understanding of the impact of HIV in general and the particular responses in Namibia. The aspects of policy formulations are discussed, including HIV policies and HIV workplace policies. Monitoring and evaluation techniques are reviewed with specific reference to HIV. Having worked through these aspects, the final unit creates the opportunity for students to address the issue of project management for HIV. It goes without saying that the impact of HIV on Sub-Saharan Africa is enormous in all sectors of society. That's the public, the private, the NGO, and the community. But particular emphasis on education and agriculture. Governments in the world have responded to the epidemic, all of which are based on the global approaches to address this multifaceted issue related to HIV and AIDS. This manual addresses all the important aspects as highlighted in the overview to equip students for management of HIV in Namibia. Let's quickly look through our assignments. Basically, this module is a year module and you are required to do 8 assignments, 4 during the first semester and the other 4 in the second semester. So first of all, let's look at assignment 1. Discuss the impact of HIV and AIDS on the socio-economic fabric of Namibia. Your discussion should include arguments on how it impacts on the economic growth and how it influences the sectors of education and agriculture and the health sector in particular. So obviously, HIV has had a devastating impact on Namibia. So we want you to look at what impact has this virus had on the Namibian context in view of education, agriculture, health sector, and also the economic growth of this country. And again, these things, these assignments are very practical. You need to consult experts, economists. You need to consult the Minister of Education, managers, Minister of Agriculture managers, Minister of Health managers. You need to consult economists in the, say for example, FNB, Bank of Namibia, to really help you understand the impact of HIV in the country before you attempt this assignment. Your experiences or your input will add a lot of value, not only in your assignment, but also to understand that what the subject that you are studying or the field that you are studying actually is very relevant in this day and age. Policy, this assignment 2 looks at policy. Policy development forms an integral part of the business government. Define what a policy is and describe the process of policy formulation. Elaborate on the challenges faced in making policies work. So we know that in order for government to work, we need policies. And now, what is this? What is basically a policy? You must be able to give us a comprehensive definition. And obviously, you have to also look at the processes. What does it take to formulate a policy? And as everyone has been talking about, Namibia has got very good policies. But how come these policies are not really working? Why are they not being implemented? What is lacking? And so we want you to be able to have that insight. Assignment 3 talks about the National Strategic Plan. The National Strategic Plan, MTP3, guides government in the fight against HIV, discuss the strategies under the component of an enabling environment of prevention. So you realize that government has responded to the HIV scourge in various ways. So if you look at the National Strategic Plan, especially the current one, how is it really been rolled out to make sure that it talks to the issues on the ground in order to mitigate the impact of HIV. Assignment 4, you are the project manager of HIV counseling and testing in Karas region with 3 districts, right? 1, set specific performance indicators for staff training, counseling, rapid testing, quality assurance, 2 indicators for each, and discuss how you would monitor and evaluate these indicators over a period of 1 year. So again, in terms of HIV managers, we want our students to be able to relate to issues of monitoring and evaluation and really applying these tools in a very practical way instead of just writing these things in a sort of theoretical framework. Again, this assignment challenges you to visit a local institution, be it a clinic or an NGO, where someone, an M&A officer, for example, or a deputy director or a director, can actually walk you through the process to say how do they work around issues of staff training, counseling, rapid testing, quality assurance, and the indicators thereof. Okay. Assignment 5, conduct a study of Vision 2030 and its long-term agenda in HIV, in relation to HIV and AIDS. Discuss your findings and views on how this will impact on the future of Namibia. You must remember that Vision 2030 is a national document, well detailed, very well articulated, and as an HIV student, there are no 2 ways. If you are to become a manager, honestly, you need to, these documents, Vision 2030, Harambee Prosperity Plan, NDP5, they need to become your best friends. That's the only way you can understand which way the government is going and how you as a manager will be able to make a significant impact in what you are doing. Assignment 6, discuss in detail the role of an HIV/AIDS workplace program in the workplace and explain some of the key elements which makes a successful workplace program. Obviously, there is a need to mainstream HIV in the workplace as one of the sustainable multi-sectoral approach. So the question is, what role does a workplace program do in the fight against HIV, and also what are the key elements which can make a workplace program become successful? So you need to walk us through this this discussion in your assignment. But again, in order for you to really understand what this assignment is all about, how about visiting a specific workplace program or two? Try to look at first of all, look at your literature. I'm sure your manual has got very well detailed notes. And then from there, you can even consult me if you struggle. Let's say you want to structure your presentation and you want some guidelines. How do I approach a wellness coordinator to make sure that they give me the relevant information? So that when you go there, at least you get some insight. Do these things really work? Because once you visit two workplaces, I can tell you and I can guarantee you, you come up with a very good piece of work. Assignment 7 talks about Vision 2020. It talks about an ambitious strategy to end the HIV pandemic. Discuss this strategy in detail using relevant example. So Vision 2020 basically is not Vision 2030, obviously. It falls under the campaign or the campaign called the 90-90-90, meaning the aim of this vision is that at least 90% of the population must be tested for HIV, right? And from those 90% of the population who are tested, those who are diagnosed with HIV, 90% must be put on on treatment. Of those who are put on treatment, 90% must achieve 90% viral suppression. So we want you to really discuss this strategy. It's a 40-page document, and you need to read it very well, make notes, and make sure that you've got a good understanding. And again, what we can do is, if you look at organizations like Project Hope, for example, they are working already on these issues. If you visit NGOs like, what is this? Project Hope is one of them. Ompesha Yinga, they are also working on this. You can ask the managers to say, how are you working on this strategy to make it become a reality? You can even visit UNAIDS offices and ask them in a very practical way, how are they working with local NGOs in Namibia to make this dream a reality? You've got NGOs like Intra Health. They are driving this agenda already. Recently, they introduced PrEP, pre-exposure prophylaxis. You may get a lot of insight into that. And lastly, project management is not your conventional management. Discuss your understanding by providing examples. Most of us as HIV managers we work with projects, and it's very important to have a clear understanding on how you can apply project management concepts into your daily life or into your program, so that you can actually get maximum returns. And again, there are a lot of project managers who are working under the Ministry of Health and Social Services, some of whom you can actually have conversations with them on what it is that they are doing, especially linking project management and HIV. Because once you graduate, once you have a degree, you need to show to the world that you are not just a graduate, but rather a practuate who really understand or can marry both theory and practice. And in conclusion, students are strongly encouraged to read widely before attempting the assignments. My contact details are available in your tutorials. Feel free to contact me, and happy studies ahead.